Imagine the chill of a January evening in Seville, Spain, where the ancient streets whisper secrets of history and heartbreak. On January 24th, 2009, a vibrant 17-year-old girl named Marta del Castillo steps out of her family home, her heart heavy with the weight of young love's uncertainties. She's heading to meet her boyfriend, Miguel Carcano, to hash out the tangled threads of their relationship. With a quick kiss on her father's cheek, she vanishes into the twilight, never to return alive. What unfolds next is a nightmare that grips an entire nation, a labyrinth of lies, betrayals, and unyielding grief. Picture the desperation of a family torn apart, the shadowy figures who weave a web of deception, and a haunting question that lingers to this day. Where is Martha's body? This is the story of one of Spain's most infamous true crimes, a case that exposes the darkest corners of a human soul. Welcome to Unreal True Crime, the vanishing of Marta del Castillo. As the sun dips below the horizon on that fateful day, Marta del Castillo, a bright-eyed teenager full of dreams and promise, chats animatedly with her best friend Sylvia Fernandez. Their conversation flows like any ordinary exchange between high school girls. Gossip, laughter, the small dramas of youth. But suddenly, Martha cuts it short. "I have to go," she types hurriedly. "Miguel's waiting downstairs. We need to talk about us. I'll fill you in later." You can almost feel the urgency in her words, the mix of excitement and apprehension that comes with confronting matters of the heart at such a tender age. Little does she know, this hurried goodbye will echo through eternity. In the hallway of her modest home, Martha encounters her father, Antonio del Castillo. He's a protective soul, the kind of dad who worries about every scrape and stumble. "Don't get on that motorcycle with him," he warns, his voice laced with paternal concern. But Martha, in her youthful defiance and affection, simply leans in and plants a kiss on his cheek, a gesture so innocent, so final. At precisely 5:30 p.m., she steps out the door, her footsteps fading into the bustling streets of Seville. The city, with its historic charm, the winding alleys, the scent of orange blossoms mingling with the evening air, seems deceptively safe. But danger lurks in the shadows, wearing the face of someone she trusts. As the hours tick by, a subtle unease begins to creep into the Del Castillo household. Martha's mother, Eva Casanueva, paces the floor, her maternal instincts flaring like a warning signal. Where could her daughter be? It's not like Martha to stay out without a word. She starts making calls, dialing friends, acquaintances, anyone who might have seen her spirited girl. The responses are eerily consistent. She must be with Miguel. He knows where she is. But Miguel Carcano, the 20-year-old boyfriend, isn't answering his phone. The silence from his end is deafening, a void that swallows hope. Desperation mounts. Antonio heads to Miguel's house, his knocks on the door growing more insistent, more frantic. No answer. The door remains a barrier, cold and unyielding. Finally, they connect with Samuel Benitez, a close friend of Miguel's. His words send a shiver down Eva's spine. "Miguel dropped her off at your house around midnight. But it's only 11:45 p.m. How could that be?" The timeline doesn't add up, and in that discrepancy lies the first crack in the facade of normalcy. You can picture Eva's face paling, her hand trembling as she holds the phone. This isn't right. Something is terribly wrong. By 2 a.m., the family can wait no longer. They file a missing persons report, their voices steady but edged with fear as they speak to the authorities. Never in their wildest nightmares did they imagine this would balloon into one of Spain's most publicized and perplexing cases, a saga of murder, cover-ups, and endless searches that would test the limits of justice and human endurance. Let's step back for a moment and delve into who Marta del Castillo truly was. Born on June 19, 1991, in the vibrant city of Seville, Marta grew up in a loving family. Her parents, Eva and Antonio, provided a stable home filled with warmth and support. Marta was the epitome of youthful vitality, a high school student with dreams as vast as the Andalusian skies. She loved chatting with friends, exploring the city's historic sites, and navigating the complexities of first love. Her relationship with Miguel Carcano had been a whirlwind, marked by the passionate highs and turbulent lows typical of young romance. But beneath the surface, tensions simmered. What exactly drew her to Miguel? He was older, charismatic in his own brooding way, but there were whispers of possessiveness, of arguments that escalated too quickly. Psychologically, Marta might have been drawn to his intensity, seeing it as depth rather than danger, a common trap for the young and hopeful. Miguel Carcano, on the other hand, presented a more enigmatic figure. At 20, he was already navigating a world of adult responsibilities and hidden flaws. Friends described him as loyal but volatile, someone who could charm you one moment and erupt the next. His background wasn't marked by overt tragedy, but there were signs of instability, perhaps unresolved family issues, a simmering resentment that psychologists might attribute to unaddressed emotional wounds. His close circle included Samuel Benitez, a friend whose loyalty would soon be tested in unimaginable ways, and others who would become entangled in this web. As the night wears on without Marta, the family's worry turns to panic. For hours after the initial report, details about Miguel, now emerging as a person of interest, are provided to the police. But bureaucracy moves slowly. Another report is filed at 1:30 p.m. the next day, and still no immediate action. The family stews in impatience, their minds racing with worst-case scenarios. What if she's hurt? What if she's lost? The psychological toll is immediate. Sleepless nights, hearts pounding with every unanswered call. 17 hours after the first cry for help, protocol finally kicks in. Officers begin the search, combing streets, interviewing witnesses. But the family isn't idle. They take statements from relatives and friends, piecing together Martha's last known movements. By January 27, 2009, the first press conference is held. Eva and Antonio stand before cameras, their faces etched with raw anguish, pleading for information. They launch a campaign, posters, flyers, social media pleas, that spreads like wildfire. The community rallies. On January 28th, 2,000 people march through Seville streets, chanting, "We are all Marta." Imagine the sea of faces, united in solidarity, their voices a chorus of hope and demand for her safe return. The momentum builds. On February 7th, another demonstration draws 3,000 souls, their signs a testament to collective grief. The case explodes in the media, television specials, newspaper headlines, online forums buzzing with theories. Seville, a city known for its flamenco passion and historic grandeur, now pulses with a different energy. Fear, suspicion, and an unquenchable thirst for answers. After 21 agonizing days, a breakthrough, or so it seems. On February 13th, 2009, police locate Miguel Carcano. The 20-year-old, cornered and crumbling, assumes full responsibility. His confession is chilling. He murdered Martha and dumped her body in the Guadalquivir River, perilously close to his apartment. But he doesn't stop there. He implicates Samuel Benitez as an accomplice in disposing of the body. Samuel, initially accepting blame, soon recants. Then Miguel names more: Javier Garcia Marin, a troubled miner known as El Cuco, Francisco Delgado, Miguel's own brother, and Francisco's girlfriend, Maria Garcia. All five are arrested, their lives forever altered. Interrogations unleash a torrent of contradictions. Miguel's story shifts like sand. Accomplices point fingers, deny involvement. Meanwhile, the search for Martha's body begins in earnest. A meticulous dive into the murky waters of the Guadalquivir. Divers plunge into the cold depths. Sonar scans the riverbed, but hope dims with each empty hull. The atmosphere is tense, the air thick with anticipation and dread. Family members watch from the banks, their hearts in their throats, praying for closure that refuses to come. On February 16th, Miguel reiterates his tale before a judge, but Samuel distances himself, claiming coercion by police. The psychological dynamics here are fascinating. Miguel, perhaps driven by guilt or a twisted sense of control, clings to his narrative. Samuel, feeling the noose tighten, backpedals. What motivates these young men? Fear of consequences? Loyalty fraying under pressure? Experts in criminal psychology might point to Miguel's potential narcissistic traits, his need to orchestrate the story, while Samuel exhibits classic self-preservation instincts. By March 18th, Miguel requests another statement, flipping the script. Now, he and El Cuco abused Martha at knife point, and the miner strangled her. They transported her body to Delgado's house, then tossed it into a garbage container. The judge halts the river's search, redirecting efforts to a landfill, a vast, stinking expanse of refuse that symbolizes the degradation of this tragedy. Martha's father, Antonio, accuses Delgado's girlfriend, noting her father's job at a biological waste crematorium. Could the body have been incinerated? The theory ignites media frenzy, fueling public outrage. Imagine the horror for the family, envisioning their beloved daughter's remains reduced to ash, denied even a proper burial. The searches continue, exhaustive and expensive. Police sift through tons of garbage, the stench assaulting their senses, but yield nothing. On November 16th, 2009, El Cuco, having exceeded preventive detention limits, is moved to a supervised flat. In February 2011, he's tried for abuse and murder, but acquitted due to insufficient evidence. Instead, he's sentenced to 2 years and 11 months in juvenile detention for covering up for Carcano, a slap on the wrist that infuriates many. The trial against the 4 adults begins on October 17, 2011. Miguel provides more details. He struck Martha with an ashtray during an argument, killing her. Previous claims of abuse were lies. His brother, Francisco Delgado, Maria Garcia, and Samuel Benitez proclaim innocence, ignorant of the body's location. They accuse Miguel of fabricating tales to dilute his guilt. Forensic evidence emerges. Traces of Martha's blood on Miguel's jacket, mixed DNA on fabric tape from Miguel and Maria, and DNA from Francisco and Maria on an extension cable possibly used to strangle her. This contradicts Maria's claim of arriving post-crime. Fingerprints on alcohol bottles include El Cuco's, puzzling as he faced no direct evidence before. The nation watches, riveted. The trials draw massive crowds, police cordons straining against angry mobs. Protesters demand the body's location, their chants a roar of collective fury. Delgado and Maria arrive incognito, balaclavas, sunglasses, but the crowd surges, insults flying, hands grasping to unmask them. You can feel the raw emotion, the public's thirst for vengeance mirroring the family's pain. A key witness, a taxi driver, recalls picking up a bald, bearded man, matching Delgado, with a plastic bag, staring intently. He dropped him at Leon 13th Street, the crime scene, for €8. But defense questions the fare. Should have been €5, casting doubt. Psychological profiling might suggest Delgado's stare as intimidation or paranoia, a window into his mindset. Martha's parents testify, bearing their souls. They've quit jobs, turned to psychiatric meds, battle depression. Their other daughters suffer in silence, the family's fabric torn. The jury's January 2012 verdict stuns. Miguel alone guilty, sentenced to 21 years and 3 months, banned from Seville for 30 years post-release, ordered to pay costs and compensation. Euro 280,000 to parents, €30,000 each to sisters. Delgado, Maria, and Samuel walk free. No evidence placing them at the scene during the murder. Outrage erupts. In 2013, Delgado and Samuel demand the family cover their trial costs, a cruel twist. Antonio vows to seek justice abroad, decrying Spain's system as obsolete, eyeing Strasbourg's European Court. In December 2011, Eva writes Miguel a heartfelt letter, begging for closure. End the torture. Let Martha rest where flowers can bloom. No reply. Picture her penning those words, tears staining the paper, her soul aching. January 24th, 2012. 3 years on, sees demonstrations nationwide, a tidal wave of support demanding justice. In prison, Miguel faces threats, attempts suicide, isolates in a therapeutic module. He crafts 7 versions of the crime, lawyers fleeing in frustration. His 2013 tale implicates brother Francisco. An argument over a mortgage escalates. Francisco threatens with a gun. Martha intervenes, struck fatally with the butt. Francisco calls someone mysterious. Miguel flees. El Cuco arrives. They wheelchair the body to Magaloba Farm in La Rinconada, bury it. Martha's parents, astonishingly, believe this, holding Miguel in esteem for truth. They push for reopening, focusing on Francisco, but authorities dismiss it. Antonio visits Miguel, offering the Leon 13 house post-sentence for cooperation, a desperate bargain born of grief. Searches rack up costs, the priciest in Spain's history. River reenactments expose lies. Impossible for 3 on a motorcycle with a body. Landfill digs. 40,000 tons sifted over 32 days. Futile. For locations named, each probe vainly. Funds dwindle. Minister halts one search. April 2013. Miguel points to La Rinconada. Accompanying police, he sketches vaguely. 6 farms excavated. 10,000 square meters scanned via georadar. Nothing. Sources paus till 2015. Public Ministry demands defendants repay €616,319 to Interior Ministry. An infiltrator, Oscar, befriends El Cuco's mother, Rosalia. Posing as a criminal, he records 600 hours over 2.5 years. In 2011, El Cuco on release admits police tail him to find where they got rid of Martha, then backtracks. He mocks searches. Rosalia laments unchecked calls. Recordings judicialized in 2022. May 26th. New process. Crowd support family. El Cuco and Rosalia arrive shrouded. 2011 statements contradicted. El Cuco wasn't home. Called by Miguel post-murder, helped bury with Samuel Francisco. Used Rosalia's car. She bar-hopped till 4:30 a.m. Charged with perjury, obstructing justice. They admit guilt. Trial June 9th, 2022. 2 years prison each. €1,440 fine. €30,000 to parents. Family indifferent to money. Crave body. 2022. Judge allows Carcano/Martha phones examined. Carcano consents, claiming proof against brother. No new leads. Case closes indefinitely. November. Body search investigation shuts. Period expired. Martha's parents accept Miguel's silence. Sell Leon 13 flat. Case joins Unsolved archives. Dust gathering. Now, let's expand deeply on the psychological undercurrents. Martha's youth made her vulnerable, trusting, idealistic. Miguel's volatility perhaps stemmed from insecurity, control needs. Accomplices' denial suggest groupthink, fear binding them. Family's grief, post-traumatic stress, endless what-ifs. Society's reaction, media sensationalism amplifies pain. Public demands reflect collective fear of evil nearby. Relationships. Martha Miguel's toxic mix. Passion masking red flags. Family bond shattered. Sisters silent, suffering profound. Motives: jealousy? Rage? Cover-up greed? Scenes. Envision Leon 13. Dimly lit. Echoes of argument turning deadly. Atmosphere. Seville's beauty contrasts horror. Festive streets hiding darkness. Aftermath. Parents' resilience amid despair. Justice partial. Body absent denies closure. Lingering questions. Why so many lies? Where is she? In conclusion, Marta del Castillo's case haunts us, a stark reminder of evil's proximity. It probes human nature's abyss. Deception's ease, grief's endurance. Justice served? Partially, but without her body, peace eludes. We reflect on fragility, vigilance needed. Martha's spirit endures in the fight for truth. What does this say about us? In shadows, we seek light.